All right, let's get into it, guys. What's up, guys? It's your boy JHAWK here. I'm here with my co-host Sosa. Say what's up to the people, Sosa.
Was
Well, welcome to our Wake Up Dog College Football podcast. Today we have Week One's preview. We will recap what happened in Week Zero. Then we will preview all the top 25 games with three top 25 teams in action starting out tonight. After that, we will start previewing the ACC and SEC games that are being played this week. For the fact that Sosa is a Georgia Bulldog fan, so we will be covering SEC for him, and then I'm a Wake Forest fan, so we'll be covering the ACC for me. After that, we will get into our FCS game of the week, which features the Aggie Eagle Classic in Charlotte, North Carolina this Saturday night. And then we will get into our weekly pick 'em, go over those games quickly. And then to wrap up the episode, we will give our early Heisman favorite, and we will give our early conference champion and our sleeper team to win the conference. And we will finish it out by giving our college football playoff prediction. So this should be a good episode. Let's go ahead and get into some of the action from week zero. And I don't know how much football you got into last week, so I didn't get into much because most of the games were going to be blowouts. So
I did watch the Nebraska and the Northwestern game. I did watch that game. After that, I'll say Scott Frost probably would. After the performance Nebraska had, I wouldn't say Scott Frost would make it to mid-season. Um, it's to the fact that you put so much money in the coach that probably is not that didn't even win a close game his whole career in Nebraska. And I think to like the Nebraska, hopefully the Nebraska fans that are done, they are done with Scott Frost. And I think he would survive. I'll give him to Oklahoma. He won't survive after the Oklahoma game.
you just got to think that he's going to win a close game one of these times. I think I saw a stat where, like, in like one score game since he got to Nebraska, they're like 5-22 or something like that. That's so crazy how the change of direction of these games, especially with the game that was played Saturday as our game of the week, Northwestern, Nebraska from Dublin, Ireland. The moment the game changed is when Nebraska was up 28-17 and decided for some reason to kick an onside kick. I was kind of confused by that.
I was kind of questionable with that too. In my mind, I was thinking like, what are they doing at that time? And that really was the time event of the game. So my problem is Nebraska has the talent, but they don't have the coach.
Yeah, Scott Frost definitely did his thing at UCF, and they figured that with all that success over there, that he would bring it to them. Just has not worked out at all.
It backfired completely, thus giving Northwestern the victory and Dublin Ireland.
Um, let's see. Out of the other games from week zero, most of these
FAMU,
games were blowouts.
FAMU, they did put up a good fight.
They
Against
did. I did watch a little bit of that game,
I have to say, even though half
and
the team was ineligible due to academic reasons, due to
they
ineligibility.
honestly held on for 3 quarters, and then North Carolina finally decided to pull away.
Mm,
Which we will get into the North Carolina discussion a little bit later when we go over our game previews for them. But North Carolina, I mean, you gotta give a shout out to FAMU for real. Like Sosa said, he had 26 players that were ineligible to play, and they held their thing for 3 quarters. I mean, going into the fourth quarter, it was just an 11-point ball game, but North Carolina was able to finally pull away in that one. And
Derek May let it loose in the fourth quarter. And FAMU, speaking of FAMU, they do play Jackson State Sunday in the Orange Blossom Classic.
I
That
I was thinking about doing that game also as like co-game of the weeks like we did last week in FCS, because we had co-games of the week last week with Stephen F. Austin and Jacksonville State, and Jacksonville State blew out Stephen F. Austin. That game was crazy.
they did. It was a no contest. These don't week zero games is pretty much of a tune-up. As for Florida State, a tune-up game. They faced
Duquesne, yeah,
Duquesne. They trying to prepare for LSU where they play in the
man, that
Mercedes-Benz Superdome. We'll get to that
That's gonna
later.
be fun. That's definitely
We'll
gonna
get
be
to that a
fun.
little bit later. Jaden Daniels, transfer from Arizona State University, taking his first snaps in week 1 as an LSU Tiger against Florida State. Well, we'll get to that game a little bit later.
You know what? I forget that he transferred there. Honestly,
I
last
did.
thing I wanted to talk about for week 0 is the fact that the number 1 offense in the country belongs in Nashville, Tennessee, the Vanderbilt Commodores.
They lit up Hawaii. I was shocked. I
I low key
really,
was not shocked. I mean, Hawaii had a really good year last year, kind of. Well, they got into a bowl game. Of course, they pulled out of the bowl game within 24 hours, which pissed off a lot of people. But a lot of
Hawaii,
people, yeah, they kind of.
Hawaii, Hawaii hasn't. They only lost one game during home season opener, so that kind of shocked me. I expected the Vanderbilt to win. I didn't expect them to win that bad.
Honestly, I did not expect a blowout like that because if you did listen to the episode last week when I was just chilling by myself, I was like, I have no fucking clue where to go with this game. Both teams kind of suck. I was like, you know what? We'll just go Vanderbilt. But let's go ahead and get into our top 25 games. And the action does start out tonight at 7 o'clock on Fox Sports 1. And it's a matchup between the Central Michigan Chippewas traveling down the Stillwater to take on the number 12 ranked Oklahoma State Sooners. Oklahoma State is currently, at the time of this recording, a 21.5-point favorite. The ESPN FPI is giving the Cowboys a 94.2% chance to win. I mean,
Let's not sleep on Central Michigan. They beat Oklahoma State before. Let's
I
not
was
sleep
think
on them.
when I first saw this game, I was thinking about that game where I mean, there's controversy to it for the fact that it was an untimed down, and then, I mean, that play was insane. A walk-off touchdown at the buzzer to beat a Power 5 school like that was amazing. But going over both of these teams, Central Michigan did go 9-4 last year, 6-2 in the MAC, and they were awarded a spot. They had a bowl game in California. I think they were supposed to play Boise in their bowl game, but Boise had to pull out due to the illness. We're not allowed to say the illness, apparently. I read
Yeah,
through the rules. Can't say the illness. But
but we know what
Boise
it
pulled
was.
out. Boise pulled out of that, and then Miami pulled out of the Sun Bowl. So Washington State was left without opponent. So they just matched Central and Wisconsin State together in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, which the Chippewas won that game 24-21. And I kind of, you know what, I always used to make fun because my dad and I, like, we're ACC fans. He's a Florida State fan. I'm a Wake Forest fan. And one of the ACC tie-in bowls is the Tony. So I think it was the one year that Arizona State played Florida all the time. Like, the game came out, I was like, Dad, you guys are playing in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Like, you're going to get a bowl shirt with a fucking tiger on the front of it. Like, I was like, you want some Frosted Flakes?
These old days is low-key getting ridiculous. The Cheez-Its bowl.
Cheez-It Bowl, right?
I don't understand. These balls
These
get
bowl names
ridiculous.
are fucking hilarious to me.
Mm.
All right, let's preview Oklahoma State too. Oklahoma State's coming off of a season where they went 12-2, 8-2 in conference play. They lost that conference championship game against Baylor. I don't know if anybody remembers the play. It was a 4th and goal.
The game. That's why they call football the game of inches.
Literally, he was literally like an inch away.
The game of inches. They also beat Oklahoma too before everything went downhill down there in Oklahoma when Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, Oklahoma rebuilding. They also beat a very good Oklahoma team last season. Let's not forget that.
That is true. Bedlam, I remember that. That was the week before that game. Thinking about that conference championship game, they like an inch. They're an inch away from winning the conference championship and most likely kicking Cincinnati out of the college football playoff. I think if Oklahoma State would have won that game over Baylor, they would have hopped in over Cincinnati and made it into the playoff.
I was say because I believe if Oklahoma State won that game, they was in.
Oh yeah, that's what I was. And as soon as they lost, I was like, "Yep, Cincinnati's gonna get in. They're gonna get their spot." But Oklahoma State did bounce back and defeat Notre Dame in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl by a score of 37-35, which was a fun game to watch. I did watch that game. That was pretty fun to watch.
It was a very exciting game to watch.
Next up on our schedule at 7 o'clock on ESPN for the first time in years, we have the Backyard Brawl. West Virginia and number 17 Pitt take the field together for the first time. And I believe it's been like 6 years since the last time these two teams faced off against each other in a great rivalry. Pitt is a 7.5-point favorite on their home field, technically home field. They play their home games at Heinz Field. The FPI gives Pitt a 78.1% chance to win this game. And I mean,
I can see Pitt winning.
This is going to be fun for the fact that we have two new transfer quarterbacks coming in for both teams. We're going to see what Pitt is like outside the Kenny Pickett era. West Virginia, they have JT Daniels coming in, who just transferred from Georgia, which isn't surprising that he transferred because the mailman is the answer.
A man named Stetson Bennett.
West Virginia last year, 6-7 overall. They went 4-5 in conference play in the Big 12. They played in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, where they lost 18-6 versus the Minnesota Gophers. For the Pitt Panthers, 11-3, 8-1 in the ACC. They did win the conference championship game. That breaks my heart. I don't actually want to say what the score was because it hurts my feelings being there. They took that momentum and lost in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. 31-21 to Michigan State. Thank you, Michigan State.
I remember that game.
I do remember that game. That game finished off with a pick six because I forget who the announcer was. He's like, a New Year's something on the touchdown. I was like, oh, yeah, because the player's last name was like Holiday. He's like, a New Year holiday. I'm like, oh, okay. That's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this game is definitely going to be interesting. I'm not going to be tuned in because I will be watching the game we feature next. But, man, it's going to be a fun game to watch for the fact that it's the Backyard Brawl again. I mean, the one reason I hate all the realignment, fuck, I can't English. All the fucking teams moving conferences and stuff. It's the fact that we lose out on a lot of like big time rivalries that we used to have. I mean, you had Oklahoma and Nebraska gone, A&M and Texas are gone.
It's tragic. I think the last time Pitt actually beat West Virginia was like back in 2007. Well, I'm wrong.
Oh, man, that game was a good one too. I remember that.
Because Pat White was on that team.
Yeah, all they had to do was win that game, and they were national championship bound, and they lost that game. 2007 was a crazy year in college football, guys. That was a favorite year of mine.
So many upsets, so many ways.
Right. All right. We have a 7:30 kickoff on the ACC network featuring the number 22 ranked Wake Forest Demon Deacons taking on the VMI Cadets. FBI gives Wake a 99.6% chance to win this game. I sadly will not be attending this game tonight due to the fact that there's an illness going around my family. So sadly, I'm not going to be in attendance to watch this game. But going over the opponent last year for Wake is VMI, who went 6-5, 4-4 in the SoCon Conference. They had an FBS game last year against Kent State, where Kent State won that game 60-10. Previewing my Wake Forest Demon Deacons, they went 11-3, 7-2 in conference play. Like I said, sadly lost that conference championship game to Pitt, which I was in attendance for. We bounced that back with the win in the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, defeating Rutgers by a score of 38-10.
It was supposed to be. It was supposed to be
A&M.
It was the A&M, but
It was A&M. They said they were sick. In reality, they were scared to play us again. But we won't get over that. Fuck A&M. We had an FCS game last year. We defeated Norfolk State 41-16. And I know everybody would probably be curious about me and want to know about what's life going to look like without Sam Hartman at quarterback this year.
It's going to be childish.
And that's why everybody is like falling off on is now saying Wake's going to finish like 4th or 5th in the division. We'll be lucky to get into it.
When Sam Hartman went down, that's where everybody, had doubts. That's when people started down Wake Forest. But I think Wake Forest, even without Sam Hartman, I still think they're going to surprise some people this season.
Okay. This is what I'm going to say. I'm going to take a page out of Aaron Rodgers' book real quick. RELAX. Relax. I get it. Sam Hartman is the leader of this offense. He is what makes this slow mesh offense roll. We get it. Yes, he's hurt. But we have good backups behind them. We recruit well. I mean, besides the fact that we don't go out there and try to get 5-star recruits every year. We barely have any 4-star recruits on our roster anyways. We recruit guys that fit our system. And Mitch Griffiths is going to fit our system well. And honestly, besides Sam Hartman, the last quarterback to throw a touchdown pass in a game for Wake Forest is Mitch Griffiths, which he did during the 2020 season, opening night when we played Clemson. We had college game day there. That was pretty lit. I was hooked. Man, I wish we would win that game. But, I mean, Mitch is going to be able to run our offense well. And the comparison from camp is that he has the mind of Sam Hartman, but he plays quarterback like John Walford. And everybody knows how John Walford was that way. That man was the leader of the team. Key games. I mean, back in 2017 when we beat Louisville, I mean, he outplayed Lamar Jackson.
The reigning Heisman winner at that.
Right. He outplayed him. Everybody remembers the Belt Bowl that year when we got into that shootout with A&M, beat them 55-52. He's MVP of the game for having like 400 passing yards. Like, I mean, relax, guys. I know Hartman is the top player of the team. We're losing 50 touchdowns and over 4,500 total yards on offense just by one player, but we have our weapons still. We lost Ja'Cory Roberson to the NFL. I think he got picked up somewhere on the practice squad after all the cuts. But A.T. Perry's back. Taylor Moran's back. We're getting Donovan Green back, who missed all of last year with a ACL injury. He was supposed to be what A.T. Perry was. A.T. came out of nowhere. This man had 15 touchdown catches last year. He hadn't even caught 15 passes in his white career until last year. So, we're going to be fine. I'm very confident in Mitch. And, of course, our best bet is hoping that Sam comes back this season, which the reports that we are getting is that he's progressing well. He hasn't been cleared to get into any football activities yet, but he's progressing. So, we're praying for you, Sam. We love you, man.
That's a good sign, but prayers for Sam Hartman. That's a good sign.
So that's all 3 of our top 25 showdowns on tonight. So tomorrow we only have one top 25 team in action. That will be a 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN featuring the Western Michigan Broncos traveling to East Lansing to take on the 15th ranked Spartans of Michigan State. Going into this game, Michigan State is a 22.5-point favorite. The FPI is giving Michigan State a 94.1% chance to win this game. Western Michigan, 8-5 last year, 4-4 in the MAC. They played Nevada in the Quick Lane Bowl. That game's played in Detroit, Michigan. They won that game by a score of 52-24. For Michigan State last year, 11-2, 7-2 in Big 12 play. Pretty impressive game they played. Defeating Michigan was one of the key victories in their season. And they also, like we said, beat Pitt in the Chick-fil-A Bowl.
That was key. And I think for people think that Michigan State season was a fluke. So I think Michigan State also finna prove people wrong. I'm saying this This is not a fluke. I think they still have Peyton Thorne, if I am mistaken, if I ain't mistaken.
Yeah, I believe he's still there.
Yeah, I think you still have Peyton Thorne. You had that quarterback. Peyton Thorne's a dog, so I believe he's gonna lead us to a very good season, if not the Big Ten championship.
You know, Michigan State has themselves a head coach. Mel Tucker is the right man to lead this team. And I
Yeah,
mean, they're gonna be losing some pieces on offense. Of course, they had a Heisman contender and my boy Kenneth Walker gone off to the NFL, playing for the Seahawks now. So, I mean, that's a big blow to the offense. But Michigan State, they is the right man. And I mean, I don't want to sleep on Western Michigan, though. We can't sleep on Western Michigan because last year they went into Pitt and defeated the Panthers. So let's not sleep on Western Michigan.
we're not sleeping.
But I mean, it's hard to tell with the Group of Five versus FBS game or an FCS versus FBS game. Like that, the better team is going to win the game, but it's not always the story, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's go ahead and get into Saturday action. We got a lot of games on Saturday, of course. Everybody's going to be sticking to their TVs all day watching football. And the action starts out at noon on the SEC Network, which is the number 6 ranked Texas A&M Aggies hosting the Sam Houston State Bearcats. Man, let's preview these two teams. Sam Houston State, an FCS team, they went 11-1. They went 6-0 in their conference. They were in the FCS playoffs, of course, and they lost in the quarterfinals to a good Montana State team by a score of 42-19. They did not play anybody in the FBS level last year. As for the Aggies of A&M, they went 8-4. They went 4-4 in the SEC. Of course, we already said they pulled out of the Gator Bowl because they were sick. I meant scared. Sick.
Gotta give them props. They did beat Saban and the Crimson Tide last year. You gotta give them props.
They did do that. Saban finally lost to an assistant, or one of his former coaches last year, twice.
Kirby Smart.
Twice last year. Yes, sir, Kirby Smart. Man, I don't know if I sent you the image, but I was scrolling down Twitter and looked at the coaching staff from that 2015 Alabama team, and there's currently 5 other guys that were on that coaching staff that are now head coaches in college football.
I believe it. That coaching staff
is ridiculous, bro.
That is stacked.
That's the thing I'm interested about comparing Alabama to Clemson, because Alabama lost all those assistants. What Dabo and company did, losing both his offense and defensive coordinators.
Yep, that is true.
We're not getting much into the discussion about A&M and Sam Houston State because A&M should blow out Sam Houston State. They're 98.4% chance or favorite according to the ESPN FBI. So we're not really getting into that discussion because we're expecting what everybody's expecting, and that's a Texas A&M blowout.
Exactly.
Next up on ABC at noon, we have Michigan coming off their pretty impressive season as they will be hosting the Colorado State Rams. Michigan is a 30.5-point favorite, and the FBI gives them a 97.6% chance to win the game. For Colorado State last year, very rough year for them. Going 3-9 overall, 2-6 in conference play. So Michigan is definitely supposed to win this game. As you know, the Wolverines last year 12-2, 9-1 in Big Ten play. They won the conference championship game easily over Iowa by a score of 42-3. And then their fun season came to an end at the college football playoff semi at the Orange Bowl with Georgia beating them 34-11.
Jimbo did it. He got over the hump. He got it.
Yeah, Harbaugh finally did what he needed to do.
He beat Ohio State. His job is safe. Now that's over with. The quarterback controversy. Who are you going to start in Big Ten play? Are you going to start McNamara or J.J. McCarthy? Cade will start this Saturday, and J.J. will start next week. To finally
have a starter named out for week 3. Yeah. I was kind of curious about that. I think with a game like Colorado State where you're most likely going to end up blowing them out. Why don't you just give them both like one half, one play one half, one play the other half, and then like next week do the same thing. Like each player gets a half. I think Michigan plays UConn next week.
I think
Just give them both like a half and see what happens with it.
that is a huge decision for John for Harbaugh. That's a huge decision for him.
All right, our final. Oh wait, you want to keep the discussion going?
No, I was good. I was just saying that's a huge decision for him and for the team.
Fact. I think I forget what school it was, but I saw it on Twitter yesterday because everybody was making fun of Harbaugh for not naming a quarterback. This one school has 5 quarterbacks on their roster and listed all 5 of them as potential starter. Like on the depth chart, it has the first guy and then it says or underneath the last 4. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh Jesus.
Be confusing a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
All right, 12 o'clock kickoff, ESPN. The number 13 ranked North Carolina State Wolfpack make a trip down to Greenville, North Carolina to take on the East Carolina Pirates in the game I'm definitely keeping my eye on. NC State is an 11.5-point favorite in this one. The FBI is giving the Wolfpack a 74.8% chance to win this game.
I don't know. East Carolina put a lot of upsets in their prestigious program history. I don't know. This is a trap game for NC State. I don't know.
Saying. I think State has to be careful.
They
have to be careful. You don't want to just walk into Greenville and expect to win because
East Carolina
finished 3rd last year in the conference, in the American Athletic Conference. So.
They are no slouches. The
Wolfpack last year 9-3 overall, 6-2 in ACC play, and they were also one of those that sadly had their bowl game canceled within 24 hours of kickoff as UCLA canceled on them for a spot in the Holiday Bowl. NC State was looking for their first ever 10-win season in program history. Sadly, could not get the opportunity to do that. As for the East Carolina Pirates, like we said, they finished 5-3 in the American Athletic Conference, 7-5 overall. And they were also one of those that had their bowl game canceled as Boston College pulled out of the Military Bowl. And like me and Sosa said, NC State has to be careful for this one. They definitely have to be careful.
It's a trap game. This is one of the trap games. One of my trap games. This is one of my trap games for week 1.
All right, let's get into a game that my boy Sosa is excited about. 3:30 kickoff, ABC from Atlanta, Georgia. The number 3 ranked defending national champions. Hold up, Sosa, you say that real quick.
3:30 on ABC. The number 3 ranked defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs will take on Dan Lanning in the Oregon number 11 ranked Oregon Ducks at Mercedes-Benz Stadium at 3:30 on ABC.
I had to let him say that. That man is a Georgia fan. He's deserving this.
I mean, hold up. We got to think about this here. This Kirby Smart versus Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning know everything about Kirby Smart. You know the insides and outs. I'm not saying this is an easy game. They got Georgia as a 17-point favorite. Here's my problem. We lost a whole lot of people in the draft. Obviously, everybody knows that. We lost Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, Lewis Singh, Cheno Tantley, Chandell. Who else? George Pickens. We lost George Pickens. We lost Jermaine Burton through the transfer portal. Samir White. James Cook. We lost a whole lot of people during the offseason. Now it's time for the other people like Kendall Milton, Kenny McIntosh, Larry McConkey, all them to step up. And with Stetson Bennett coming back for his senior year, Robert Bill Jr., Nolan Smith, all them people coming back, Keely Rigo, probably a highly rated cornerback in the draft if he declares after this season. We got to think about the tight end room. Georgia has one of the best tight end rooms in the country with Bart Bowers, Denzel Washington, Arik Gilbert. We got to think about that. So my mind is we got to find some new big playmakers. Obviously, Pickens and Burton, they are gone. So we got to find some new big playmakers. I think Larry McConkey is one of them. Brock Bowers is one of them, and that's a freshman. He's on the he's on the AP team. So we also Jalen Carter. You know, this defense is still ferocious, not ferocious as last year, but we get to see what the Dogs do on Saturday against Oregon. I'm excited for the game. Can't wait for Kirby Smart and the Dogs to see what they can do Saturday.
Yeah, that was one of the things that caught my eye when going through and writing down our notes for the show is that Georgia is a 17-point favorite, and that is a lot of points. I definitely understand that Georgia is the defending champions and they're basically playing in their backyard, but 17 points is a lot considering all that they lost. With the defense coordinator heading out to Oregon now, interesting. Um, Oregon's one of those teams like they're kind of confusing every year. I mean, they're usually like good every year, but they have like games where you're just confused. Like, how the hell did you lose this game? Like, they played Ohio State in the horseshoe last year, beat them, and then I think they followed up with going to Stanford and getting beat like the week after that. I was like, you don't. Some of these games are confusing that they play, but I mean, I think we can all say as a collective group, Oregon's got some fire ass jerseys.
They do. I think that's one of the reasons why people go there too, because of the jerseys, and also the history. Because
Oh yeah,
back
definitely.
then, Oregon was not to be fucked with.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oregon was nothing to be messed with. That high power all-team offense couldn't nobody touch them. I mean, now we're trying to see if Dan Lanning can actually bring that back to Oregon. And basically, let's see what happens Saturday at 3:30. Can't wait for the game. I'm so stoked about it. Go Dogs.
The ESPN FPI is giving Georgia also a 91.5% chance to win this game. Oregon last year, 10-4 overall, 7-3 in conference play. They played in the conference championship game against Utah and got blown out 38-10. They followed that out with a loss to an Oklahoma team in the Alamo Bowl by a score of 47-32. That was one of those crazy games. Let's go over Georgia, the Bulldogs. 14-1, 9-1 in conference play, losing the conference championship game against Alabama 41-24. They make the college football playoff, beat Michigan 34-11 at the Orange Bowl, and then they get their rematch with Alabama and take down the Tide 33-18 to win their first championship in over 40 years. And I mean, Georgia was just rocking last year with the Bulldogs winning the Natty, the Braves won the World Series. I mean, Georgia was just feeling spoiled until the Falcons kicked off.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Even though I'm not a Falcons fan, that's true.
So that's definitely going to be one of the fair games that we are looking forward to. Also at 3:30 on Fox, we have UTEP taking on Oklahoma. We're going to see what Oklahoma looks like with Brett Venables at head coach. For UTEP, we previewed them last week on the episode. They played last week versus North Texas and lost 31-13. Now they have to make this trip to Norman to take on the Sooners. And like we talked about with the Oregon bowl game, beating them. They also went 11-2, 7-2 in Big 12 play. And, I mean, yeah, this is going to be interesting to see now with Venables coming over to be the head coach. And it's going to be interesting to see what the offense looks like. I think they're going with, what's that kid from UCF?
Mackenzie Milton?
No, the lefty quarterback.
Lefty. Oh, I'm trying to get his name.
Is it Gabriel or something?
I think it is Gabriel.
You guys know who we're talking about. The lefty that transferred from UCF. That's now the quarterback at Oklahoma. That should be interesting to see.
Let's not sleep on Oklahoma. Just because Lincoln Riley's gone doesn't mean that team still has firepower. Let's not sleep on Oklahoma. Just because Lincoln Riley's gone, they still have that firepower they had before he left.
Oh, definitely that. Oklahoma is a 31.5-point favorite in this game. The FBI, of course, giving them a 98.6% chance to come away with the victory. And like we said, don't sleep on Oklahoma just for the fact that they lost Lincoln Riley. I think Brett Venables, he's been waiting for the right time to leave Clemson, and this was the right time to go to his alma mater and be the head coach there. So don't sleep on Brett Venables. That Oklahoma defense is going to show up.
They will indeed.
All right, we'll bring you now and stick to the 3:30. We got a bunch of 3:30 kickoffs. We're here on the ACC Network, which features the number 16th ranked Miami Hurricanes taking on the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Bethune-Cookman, 2-9, 2-6 in conference play. They played 2 FBS games last year. They played UTEP and lost 38-28, and lost to the UCF 63-14. As for the Hurricanes of Miami, they went 7-5 last year, 5-3 in the ACC. They did not get a chance to play in the Sun Bowl, of course, due to illness, but they did play a FCS game against Central Connecticut State last year, which they won 69-0. Nice. But all the energy is on Miami for the fact that Cristobal is here and he's supposed to turn this program around. This team has been a cute little pick to take the Coastal crown from Pitt and represent the Coastal in the ACC championship game. FPI is, of course, giving them a 99.8% chance to win, which they're going to win. It's between win.
I often say, pretty much.
But it's going to be interesting to see what Miami looks like now with Cristobal there and all the hype that's surrounding the program. We usually get this hype literally like every other year for Miami, and they just never live up to the hype. So we're going to finally actually get a chance to see if they're going to be able to live up to the hype. All the hype is around Tyler Van Dyke being the quarterback and how good he was last year coming in like halfway through the season and keeping Miami relevant. I mean, without him, they probably don't, They had an impressive win beating State. I did watch that game, and I will say, if JD's watching, sorry, JD, but I was very excited about that game. But they did lose to Florida State last year.
They did.
Here's a game. These next 2 games actually are definitely circled for me. The first game, a 3:30 kickoff on ESPN, featuring the number 23 ranked Cincinnati Bearcats on the road, taking on the 19th ranked Arkansas I almost said Hedgehogs. Holy shit.
Razorbacks.
Holy shit. The Razorbacks. I almost said Hedgehogs. Imagine. Arkansas, 6.5-point favorites, and they have a 59.6% chance to win this game. And
I got Arkansas winning this game because Cincinnati lost a lot this offseason.
They did, in fact, lose a lot.
I hate this. I hate to be this type of person, but for them to be even ranked is absurd. Yes, we understand they went to the college football playoffs. The team that went there, all half of that team went pro.
Right.
So I don't want to be that guy, but I have to.
They did have about 7-8 players drafted.
Yeah, I hate to be that guy, but I don't want to. Cincinnati shouldn't be ranked. They shouldn't, and I think Arkansas is gonna run them out the stadium. Before anybody say, what about Georgia and now what about they don't rebuild, but they reload. They have 5-star talent on the bench for a reason because they recruit. If Cincinnati can actually recruit, I can actually say they should be ranked, but they lost a lot. And for them to even be ranked is absurd because they lost a whole lot at the NFL draft and graduation.
I mean, I'm definitely not surprised that they are ranked because I think for the main reason that they are ranked is that they won a top 25 game on the schedule because, of course, the first couple of weeks you're not going to see many top 25 showdowns. So that's probably one big reason why Cincinnati is ranked. I'm not too familiar with Arkansas. I know Arkansas had a pretty good season last year. Their quarterback is big.
KJ Jefferson. Yes, he's
a big man.
Dangerous. He's dangerous.
So that's definitely one of the games I got penciled in that I want to watch.
He also lost one of his favorite threats too, Burks.
Burks. Burks to the NFL. That's be interesting.
Can do without Burks.
It'll be interesting for both teams. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, like you say. I think Cincinnati's going to be able to keep it close for a while, but then Arkansas will probably pull away. But I'm not going to sleep on Cincinnati yet. They got a really good head coach in Luke Fickell, so we're going to see what they can do. Cincinnati went 13-1 last year, perfect in their conference, winning the conference championship over Houston by a score of 35-20, in Alabama in the semi at the Cotton Bowl by a score of 27-6. As for the Razorbacks, they went 9-4, 4-4 in SEC play, and it felt like they were ranked every week just to get a good showdown. I think they were top 10 when they played you guys.
Yeah,
they were. Georgia's defense last year was unfair.
He's dangerous.
That was fucking cheat code shit.
That's the type of team you will put in Madden. It just go stupid with them.
That team was a cheat code last year. Arkansas won the
Oh,
Outback
that would
Bowl
be
24-10 versus Penn State. Man, that defense was fucking. Oh my god, man.
that's probably one of the greatest That's no Scott said that is the greatest defense we had in Georgia history.
Oh, definitely.
I don't think nothing is going to top that defense.
Oh no, definitely not. Here's a game that I circled down because this is definitely important for the Group of 5 picture. We have a showdown at 3:30 on CBS Sports Network featuring the number 24 ranked Houston Cougars on the road in San Antonio taking on the UTSA Roadrunners. Important game for the Group of 5 right here.
Oh, man. They blew up out of nowhere. I think they went undefeated the regular season, almost lost the conference championship game to Western Kentucky, I think.
No, so they were undefeated, and then the last week of the season they got beat by North Texas, but then they bounced back with the championship win over Western Kentucky.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's something like that. They blew up out of nowhere. I thought when I looked them up, I thought, oh, this is just this Rudy Poo team out of nowhere. No, they blew up out of nowhere. Honestly, I didn't expect them to have the season that they had, but I'm pretty much excited for this game after what I seen last season.
Yeah, previewing this game, Houston is a 4-point favorite in this one. The FBI is also favoring Houston 62.4%. The Cougars last year 12-2, 8-1 in conference play, losing to Cincinnati in the conference championship game. They followed that up with the win in the Birmingham Bowl, defeating an Auburn team that did not want to be there. They won 17-13. As for the Texas San Antonio Roadrunners, like we were saying, undefeated leading up to their game against North Texas. They lost that one, going 12-2 overall, 8-1 in Conference USA play. They defeated Western Kentucky 49-41 in that conference championship game, and then they followed that up with a really good bowl game against San Diego State in the Frisco Bowl, but the Aztecs of San Diego State won that game by a score of 38-24. But like we said, we're both excited for the fact that this is an important game for the Group of 5 because, the Group of 5 team that's the highest ranked does get an automatic spot into a New Year's Six Bowl. So this is already looking like a big-time game for the Group of 5.
It is.
So now we got a couple of games that are probably going to be sleepers to you guys. So we'll start it out 4 o'clock on the SEC Network. The 21st ranked Ole Miss Rebels will be hosting the Troy Trojans. Troy 5-7 last year, 3-5 in the Sun Belt Conference, and Ole Miss, like we know, went 10-3. They went 6-2 in conference play before losing in the Sugar Bowl 21-17 versus Baylor. And Ole Miss is a 21.5-point favorite in this one. The FBI giving them an 88.9% chance to win this game. And the one thing I'm interested to see from Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, that coach, is who's next up at quarterback. You lost Matt Corral. You lost him in the bowl game, actually, and then you saw how it just went downhill from there. And, it's going to be interesting to see what the offense now looks like without Matt Corral. That's the one thing I'm definitely curious about.
Who cares about that, too? I am.
They're probably going to win this game against Troy, but, of course, it's the first week of the season. Every team kind of has their problems for the first quarter and a half against the team that they should be blowing out, and then it wakes up to them, and then they just blow them out the stadium.
They do.
Next up on the schedule, another 4 o'clock kickoff, this time on ESPNU. The 25th ranked BYU Cougars travel down to South Florida to take on the Bulls. BYU is only a 12-point favorite in this one, and the FBI gives them a 64.8% chance to win this game. For the Cougars of BYU, 10-3, they are an independent team, so they get to play whoever they feel like playing. They went 10-3, and they played in the Independence Bowl, and all the momentum's on them because they're supposed to be looking into what they're going to do next year, and they ended up losing to UAB in that game 31-28. As for their opponent, the USF Bulls, South Florida, 2-10 last year, 1-7 in conference play. And these two did match up last year out at BYU. This is the second of the home and home. BYU won last year's matchup by a score of 35-27. And, I mean, I was questioning BYU last year going into the season, trying to see what they're going to look like without Zach Wilson at quarterback. And, I mean, they showed the nation that besides Zach Wilson, I mean, they got some weapons there.
I always thought BYU was a good team to me.
Oh, yeah.
People
Every
don't
year they're usually good.
Yeah, I feel like Pete. Some people don't give BYU the credit that they deserve, but I think BYU is a good team every year.
Honestly, they are, and I'm surprised that the point spread is only 12 points. The one thing you have to factor in is that this is a 4 o'clock kickoff, and it's Florida. Florida State was supposed to kick off at 5:15 last week, and I'm pretty sure they didn't get kicked off until about 7 o'clock due to the weather. So the weather can definitely be a factor for this one. We'll have to keep our eye on that, but I'm expecting BYU to do their thing in this one.
Same.
Next up, we have a 6 o'clock kickoff on the Pac-12 network. I honestly don't know anybody in the world that says I own the Pac-12 network unless you're out west anyways. But we have the Rice Owls on the road in Southern California taking on the USC Trojans, ranked 14th in the nation. And the hype is on USC this year. 32.5-point favorites in this one, 96.1% chance to win this game according to the FBI.
Lincoln Riley debut in Southern California. Caleb Williams, Jordan Davidson. All the USC has been making headlines ever since Lincoln Riley hit the campus. With Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison, the recruits that committed to Oklahoma are now committed to USC. He's been making headlines once he stepped foot. So I can't wait to see what Lincoln Riley has in store.
And USC is one of those teams that, like, there's like a handful of teams that, like, you could say USC, LSU, Florida State, Miami. Like, the list goes on. If all those teams were relevant, college football would definitely be at, like, the highest peak. We haven't had that, of course. Virginia Tech's another one of those teams. I mean, if all these teams were relevant, golly, college football would be insane.
It would.
Rice last year went 4-8, 3-5 in Conference USA play, so this is definitely not a good-looking team. But on the other end, USC is coming off a 4-8 season as well. They went 3-6 in conference play, so it's going to be interesting to see what this team now does with Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. You know, all the additions. Is USC going to be able to live up to the hype? It's kind of like the same story with Miami. Are both of these teams going to be able to live up to the hype? Which we're expecting USC to blow out Rice. It's Rice. But that moves us on to our 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN, featuring the number 7 ranked Utah Utes and the Florida Gators. We know how Sosa feels about those Gators.
I'm not gonna be biased. Yeah, you right. I hate Florida. I hate Florida with a passion, especially what Tim Tebow did back in the early days. I hate Florida with a passion, but I'm not gonna be biased.
Yes,
I'm not gonna
sir. This show is never about being biased. We are just gonna be diehard college football fans.
I'm not gonna be biased. It's hard to bet against Florida when they get in the swamp. It's hard to bet against them.
Utah comes into this game as a 3-point favorite, but the ESPN FBI is favoring Florida at 52.1% in this matchup. Utah, 10-4 last year, 9-1 in the Pac-12. They won the conference championship against Oregon, of course, and then lost a classic in the Rose Bowl against Ohio State, 48-45. That was definitely a fun game to watch.
Rose Bowls always have the best games for some reason.
Honestly, like, one of my favorite Rose Bowl memories has to be that Georgia-Oklahoma semifinal game.
I was stressing through that whole game. Believe it or not,
I definitely believe that.
That
was the same year that Wake played A&M in that bowl game. I was at that game in Charlotte for the Belk Bowl, and A&M jumped out 7-0. We punted the ball, got blocked, and recovered in the end zone. We're down 14-0. My dad looked at me and was like, I hope we didn't waste money on tickets. And then I think literally from the minute he said that, we went on and scored like 31 straight points. I was like, yep, we didn't waste tickets. But that was a fun game to go to. And the Georgia-Oklahoma Rose Bowl, that was definitely a fun one. And then you put in last year's Rose Bowl too. That was a fun one. You had USC and Penn State's bowl game. That was fun.
Saquon Barkley, Sam Donald, Trace McSorley, Chris Godwin, a whole lot of NFL talent in there.
Man, those games were crazy.
Now the Florida and Utah. Okay, like I said, I'm not gonna be biased, but we got to be real. It's hard to bet against Florida when they playing in the swamp.
That is correct.
It's hard to bet against them. It is. It's hard to bet against a team like Utah.
Right.
So here's when I have Florida winning because it's the swamp. It's hard to play in the swamp. Let's believe it. You guys, any SEC play, almost every SEC stadium it is besides Vanderbilt, it's hard to play in. The swamp is probably the hardest one in the conference to play in. You can ask anybody. Shoot, you can ask Bama. You can ask Bama last season.
Yeah, Bama had trouble in the swamp last year.
Yeah, you can ask Bama. It's hard to bet against Florida when they are playing home. So I'm gonna have Florida. I have Florida beating Utah. I got Florida pulling off the upset.
Florida, I'm definitely interested to see. I mean, they're also coming off a 6-7 season where they lost in the Gasparilla Bowl to UCF. UCF basically said, "You're my little brother now." But Florida should be interesting to watch for the fact that Dan Mullen's finally gone. They're bringing in Billy Napier, who had Louisiana up there at the top of their conference the past couple of years. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they do next year. But this is going to be a fun game. It's definitely a interesting start to the season with these two matching up. I mean, yeah, Florida, the swamp is definitely a hard place to play. Utah's got a lot of hype because they're a fancy pick to make the college football playoff after their year that they had last year. So, I mean, this is definitely a game that you have to tune in and watch, guys. But these next couple of games that we are going to go over now, we're just going to probably take like 5 seconds to go over real quick. 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus, the number 10 ranked Baylor Bears will be hosting Albany in a very much sleeper game. Albany went 2-9, 1-7 in their Colonial Athletic Association. And they had a FBS matchup at Syracuse last year and lost 62-24. As for the Bears, Baylor 12-2, 8-2 in conference play. They won that conference championship game over Oklahoma State. They won the Sugar Bowl over Ole Miss. They had an FCS matchup last year with Texas Southern, which they won 66-7. Okay, you want to say it, or should I say it?
Yeah, we have Baylor winning by a landslide.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blowout. 98.5% chance Baylor wins according to FBI, but they're gonna blow them out. All right, next one we gotta quickly go over. Illinois State travels to number 18 Wisconsin. That game is a 7 o'clock kickoff on Fox Sports 1. The FBI 97.4% Wisconsin. Illinois State 4-7 last year, 2-6 in the toughest conference in FCS, which is the Missouri Valley Conference, and they played Western Michigan at their FBS game last year and only lost 28-0. Outside for Wisconsin in this one, they went 9-4, 6-3 in Big Ten play. Played in the Las Vegas Bowl where they defeated Arizona State 20-13. And again, we are both picking Wisconsin to blow this team out.
Yeah, about a lot.
Easy blowout game, real quick. Wisconsin did not play an FCS opponent last year, by the way. So we have another 7 o'clock ESPN Plus kickoff here, which features the number 20 ranked Kentucky Wildcats hosting the Miami of Ohio. It's Miami, Ohio. The Redhawks come into town. Kentucky is a 16-point favorite in this one. The FBI giving the Wildcats a 93.3% chance to win this game. Miami, Ohio, 7-6 last year, 5-3 in the MAC. They won the Frisco Football Classic 27-14 versus North Texas last year. For the Wildcats in this one, they went 10-3 at 5-3 in SEC play, and they won the Citrus Bowl 20-17 versus Iowa.
I'm scared because Kentucky they have us losing to Kentucky. I kind of agree. I do think Kentucky is going to give Georgia a run for their money this season. Not saying we gonna lose, but I'm saying they gonna give us a run for our money because they always play us 100%. And that kind of scared me. With the people that we lost, during the draft during the offseason, it really scares me now. So
Kentucky's supposed to be really good, apparently.
yeah, they have us losing to Kentucky this season. Kentucky is a really good team, and they're a really good team. They still got Will Levis. I mean, they just a really good team all around, and I just circle that game as a chalk game for Georgia. But Kentucky's a really good team. They have them going. I think they have them going second in the East, if not
Yeah, I've
Florida.
seen a lot of people picking Kentucky finish second. Definitely going to be interesting to see Kentucky all season. I mean, they're coming off a 10-win season. They've low-key been pretty consistent in football the last couple of years, so it's going to be interesting to see if they keep it up, especially with a top 20 preseason ranking. So we're both picking Kentucky to win this game. We will definitely talk about that in a little bit. We got a 7:30 SEC Network kickoff featuring the number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide taking on the Utah State Aggies. Utah State won last week 31-20 versus UConn. Alabama coming off their season where they went 13-2, winning the conference championship over Georgia. They won the semi versus Cincinnati, lost the rematch against Georgia in the championship. Alabama comes in this one 41.5-point favorites in this one, and they are favored by 99.3% by the ESPN FPI. Utah State, man, get your money and get out.
Yeah, that basically, because
that is a get your money and get out.
Bama is looking for blood. They want to play Georgia. They want to play Georgia in Atlanta. I'm calling it now. Saban is looking for blood.
Everybody knows every year, the year after Saban loses in the national championship, they usually bounce back and win it.
Yeah, that's basically. Look at the game he lost against Clemson. He lost to Clemson twice. The national championship came back and won the national championship the year after. So
yeah, they're coming for blood this year.
Saban is looking for blood. Bama's looking for blood. I got Bama winning by a landslide yet again because it's Bama.
Let's get into our game of the week, College Game Day, going live at 9 a.m. Eastern Time from Columbus, Ohio. I'm going to say Columbus, Georgia. Jesus. I mean, is there a Columbus in Georgia?
There is.
Okay, I figured. I was hoping I wasn't, dumb.
No, there is. It's Columbus, Georgia here.
All right. But live from Columbus, Ohio, we have the number 5 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish in the Horseshoe taking on the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. A 7:30 ABC kickoff. Ohio State 17-point favorites in this one. The FBI giving Ohio State an 83.5% chance to win this game. This is our game of the week. Usually our game of the week, unless we feel otherwise, we will just follow where College Game Day goes, which probably next week we will try to pick somewhere else because we have a good feeling College Game Day is going to go to Austin for the Texas-Alabama game.
I think Game Day noon is going though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're gonna broadcast the game on Fox. Game Day.
Oh, yeah, they are, but they'll probably go somewhere for the ABC game. Probably have some stupid-ass game on the ABC. But going into this game that we preview here, our top 5 showdown, we have Notre Dame coming off an 11-2 season in which they lost the Fiesta Bowl, and they haven't won a New Year's Six Bowl since, it fucking feels like the 80s. And then Ohio State coming off their 11-2 season that featured the Rose Bowl victory over Utah. And this is definitely going to be an interesting game. Ohio State is definitely one of those flirty picks to win the national championship this year. And on the other side, we're looking at Notre Dame replacing Brian Kelly with longtime defensive coordinator. I forgot his first name. Freeman.
I
forget his first name.
I got Ohio State winning this. I don't have no faith in Notre Dame because every time Notre Dame play a big game, they don't win. Notre Dame cannot win the big games at all.
Unless they're at home. They beat Clemson during the COVID season at home. I remember watching that game.
They beat it. Other than that, they can't win the big games.
Yeah, Notre Dame's one of those you gotta be careful picking, putting money on, because you just never know what they expect. You feel like they might compete, and then they get blown out.
Yeah, it pains me to say it. A lot of people have saying they are the Dallas Cowboys of college football.
Ooh.
And I totally agree. I totally agree with them. They are the Dallas Cowboys of college football. They can't win the big games. They have an all they people hype them up every season just for them to have an overrated season. It just baffles me. It baffles me, and I think C.J. Stroud is going to have his way with Notre Dame Saturday night because he had weapons like Marvin Harrison, Julia Jackson, Smith, and Jimba, Travion Henderson. So that team last season, half of that team is coming back. C.J. Stroud is going to have his way with Notre Dame Saturday
Man, that's
night.
gonna be a fun game to watch. Though I'm definitely looking forward to putting that on the TV. But that brings us to our final top 25 game or team that's being featured, and it is the number 4 ranked Clemson Tigers taking on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. That game is being played at the Dome in Atlanta Monday night, 8 o'clock on ESPN. There's no point spread for this game. I go by ESPN. ESPN for some reason didn't have a point spread for this game unless it just changed. But the FBI is giving Clemson a 94.3% chance to win this game. The Tigers coming in having to replace their offense and defense coordinators coming off a 10-3 season, which for Clemson standards is a bad season, but for people in the country, they would die to have a 10-3 season. They went 6-2 in ACC play. They won the Cheez-It Bowl versus Iowa State 20-13. As for their opponent, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, very down here again, 3-9, doing 6 in ACC play, but they played last year in Death Valley, and Clemson escaped with a 14-8 victory in this one. I mean, Clemson has a good quarterback in Sims, so it's gonna be interesting to see that. And for Clemson, like I said, the big story is seeing what the team looks like with the offense and defense coordinators both being gone. What's Dabo going to be able to do with new coordinators? Is DJ finally going to get his feet going and actually show that he is the quarterback of this team, or is he going to end up being replaced at some point this season?
It's crazy because I talked to my dad about this game too. After last season game, which you said Clemson squeaked out with the victory. He has Georgia Tech winning that game.
Oh,
My dad has Georgia Tech beating Clemson. I didn't say
that's a
nothing
big.
that I'm not agreeing and I'm not disagreeing, but gotta understand it all depends on how DJ plays. If DJ has a bad game, it might be a trap game for Clemson. If DJ has a good game, they might run him out. They might run him out of the stadium. They might run him out of Atlanta. It all depends on how DJ plays. He got to bounce back from that horrific season he had.
Right, that is big time for him. That is big time for him to show the world that he is the starting quarterback for Clemson and that his job is nowhere close to being taken from him. So, important game for DJ. But I feel like Georgia Tech's probably going to give him problems again. I feel it. I just feel like Georgia Tech's going to be able to
I
cause
sense it too.
issues for this team.
I sense it too, but like they said, you never know till kickoff.
So now we get into previewing the other ACC and SEC teams that aren't on the schedule to play this weekend. And it starts out also with 2 games in the SEC tonight. And the first game on SEC Network at 7 o'clock is a kickoff between the Ball State Cardinal and the Tennessee Volunteers. And this Tennessee team is being very much hyped up by the media this
Yeah,
offseason.
I've been hearing that. I've been hearing that. They say Tennessee been getting a lot of hype after that spring game, and from the practices they've been shown, they be getting a lot of hype for this upcoming
Tennessee
season.
is a 35-point favorite in this one, 95.1% chance that they win this game. Ball State's coming off a 6-7 season where they lost to Georgia State in the Camellia Bowl. As for Tennessee, we already know they went 7-6 last year in the SEC and lost the game against Purdue in the Music City Bowl. That was a fun game to watch, even though there was some controversy at the end of the game.
It was, but at the end of the day, it was still a fun game to watch. But
It was. But yeah, the media hyping up Tennessee. It's gonna be fun to see all season how they handle up that hype. It's kind of they're thrown into the same boat with Miami and USC at this point. They got a lot of hype centered around them, so it's gonna be interesting to see how they handle all the noise. So that brings us to our other SEC game being played tonight, and it's an 8 o'clock kickoff on ESPNU, which features the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs on the road in Missouri taking on the Tigers of Mizzou. And Missouri is a 20-point favorite in this one. The FBI only giving them a 77.1% chance to win this game. Louisiana Tech went 3-9 last year in the Conference USA. Missouri 6-7 in SEC, and they lost in the Armed Forces Bowl to Army by a score of 24-22. That Army team was really good last year, honestly. But this is a game that Missouri should win pretty easily.
At least they should win.
I feel like definitely, like we said earlier, all these games in week one are definitely games where some of these teams are going to have problems, you know.
That and it's best to have them early than late in the season. And I think
correct.
And I think they once they figure it all out week one, it should get rolling by week two.
So now we get into the two games on Friday night, which are ACC matchups. And it starts out Virginia Tech on the road in their first game without Justin, whatever his name was, as their head coach. They get Brent Fry. I think that's him. We got the defense coordinator from Penn State to come over and be the head coach now. They're starting their season out with a road trip to Old Dominion. And if you guys remember the last time VTech and Old Dominion played, VTech top 25 team going into that game, and Old Dominion shocked the world with the 49-35 win
over Virginia
Tech. VTech is 7.5-point favorites in this one. The FBI gives them a 66.3% chance to win the game. And VTech, coming off a 6-7 disappointing season, getting blown out in the Pinstripe Bowl by Maryland, 54-10. That was just a disappointing season for them. For Old Dominion, they went 6-7, getting into a bowl game, losing to Tulsa in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, 30-17. So both teams coming off bowl game losses. But like we said, Virginia Tech last time they played at Old Dominion had problems. Old Dominion put together a pretty good non-conference schedule for the fact that they're playing both Virginia Tech and Virginia this year. So
yeah,
I like the fact that they're playing teams that are close to them, and I think they're going to give VTech some fits tomorrow night.
That's true.
The action stays in the ACC for a 7:30 kickoff on the ACC network that features the Temple Owls on the road in Durham, North Carolina, taking on the Duke Blue Devil. Duke is a 7-point favorite in this one, giving them the FBI a 75.9% chance to win. Temple coming off a 3-9 season, one of the bottom tier teams in college football, but Duke the same way, 3-9. They didn't even win a single conference game last year, and they had one of the worst defenses in the country. Now they bring in what's his name from A&M to be their coach, their defense coordinator. I forgot his name. He used to be Wake Forest's defensive coordinator, but he's now at Duke to be the head coach. It's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, we're seeing. I'm definitely not going to tune into this game. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I'm not going to tune into this. I'm not going to tune in, man. I'm not going to watch Duke, man. I watched them last year. We beat them I forgot what the final score of that game was, but it was like 45-7 or something like that. That was the day after my birthday, too. Happy birthday to me. Get to see Wake blow out Duke. That was hot.
Wow.
But now we feature Saturday matchups, and we started out at 12 o'clock on the ACC network, featuring the Boston College Eagles hosting the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Are they the Scarlet Knights? I just know they have a knight in their name somewhere.
The Scarlet Knights, I think that's what it.
Rutgers 5-8 last year, 2-7. They volunteered to play us in the Gator Bowl. They literally only had like 2 days of practice for the game, so it wasn't shocking that we did blow them out in that game. But shout out Rutgers, man. I love Rutgers for just volunteering to allow our players to play one more game and have a chance to tie the school record and win. So shout out Rutgers. I told their fans on Twitter that I love them, and I got like 30-something likes from that. So appreciate you guys, Rutgers. As for Boston College, in this game, they went 6-6 last year, and they canceled on the Military Bowl due to an illness. And there was a lot of hype surrounding Clemson or Boston College last year for the fact that they had a good quarterback in ItsYaBoyJHAWK. I think that's his name. But he's back. He struggled with injuries last year. They just couldn't get anything going on the offense. It's gonna be interesting to see this game. They are a 7-point favorite in this one. The FBI is giving them a 70.3% chance to win this game, but that's a game that I think Boston College has to be careful in because Rutgers is a pretty good team. I know the record doesn't show it, but they're a pretty good team.
They are. They came a long way too. They came a very long way.
Oh, definitely. ESPNU. This game was circled on my calendar the minute that the schedule got released. We have a showdown in Boone, North Carolina between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the App State Mountaineers. North Carolina, a 1.5-point favorite. The FBI giving them a 54.6% chance to win this game. North Carolina, like we said earlier, defeated FAMU to start the season. As for App State, they're coming off a 10-4 season, 7-2 in Sun Belt play. They lost in the conference championship game to Louisiana before also getting beat in the Boca Raton Bowl by Western Kentucky. And I was telling people, North Carolina has to be careful. They have to be careful against App State.
You talking about a team that has pulled off the greatest upset in college football history. Almost beat Penn State when Saquon and Trey Smith-Sorley was on that team.
That is true. They did Tennessee a fit.
They are known. They are known for upsets. And I have a strong feeling that App State is going to beat North Carolina. I don't know why. It is a strong feeling. They are known. App State is known for these type of games. They are known for upsets. They are known for being the underdogs. They are known for upsets. I have App State winning this game. I have App State pulling out the upset at Chapel Hill against North Carolina.
The game's actually played at their home field. They're hosting North Carolina. Yeah.
My fault. My fault.
But I'm going to be completely honest about this game. I don't like either one of these two teams. I hate both of their fan bases. I've never liked, North Carolina fan base, I started disliking in football because I'm a North Carolina basketball fan. I know it sounds weird, guys, but just fucking go with it. That's how I was raised. But North Carolina football fans have been annoying to me the past, 5 years. Actually, it was the moment Mac Brown got hired. Mac is back. Mac is back. Yeah, it ain't working out hot for you guys. But I haven't liked North Carolina since Mac Brown got back. I have not liked App State fans for the longest, ever since they got in the FBS, because they want to say they're the best team in North Carolina. No, you guys play in the Sun Belt Conference. Come play in the real conference, and we'll see who's the best team in the state. But I'll try not to be toxic on this. Yeah, love you guys. Our next 3 games we're definitely going to skim by very easily because they're FCS and FBS matchups. But it starts out with a showdown at 12:30 on ESPN3 between the Richmond Spiders and the Virginia Cavaliers. And FBI gives Virginia a 96.7% chance to win this game.
No surprise.
Richmond, 6-5 last year. They played Virginia Tech last year and lost 21-10. As for Virginia went. My notes got messed up. Wow, I didn't even put a note for Virginia. That's great.
Oof.
Okay. Anyways, Virginia. What was their record last year? And I didn't even put a note for Auburn. Oh, well.
Oof.
Virginia's going to win the game.
Pretty much.
There you go. All right, we'll move it on. Mercer and Auburn at 7 o'clock on ESPN+. Auburn 99.2% chance to win this game. Auburn.
Win.
Yeah, Auburn. They're supposed to be bad this year.
They lost TJ Finley, too. Also, Bo Nix in the transfer portal, so
yeah, they lost a lot of people.
They still have Tank Bisbee. They still have Tank Bisbee. Tank Bisbee is a horse. He's a horse.
That man Tank is just gonna go ahead and get his yards real quick and go pro. Fuck it.
Yeah, Tank is a horse. Saints from Colorado
Mercer.
High School. For people that know, that's in Atlanta, Georgia, LaGrange. Saints from Callaway, so he's a Georgia native. I gotta support the Georgia natives. Tank Bigsby, he's a horse. Gotta love him.
Mercer went 7-3 last year. They played Alabama last year and got beat 48-14. And they actually had a game last week. They defeated Morehead State by a score of 63-13. Auburn's supposed to win this game. I think Mercer will give them a fit, though, for most of the game. But I feel like it's going to be like a Georgia State kind of game for Auburn last year where they finally had to pull away late.
I think so, too. But I think so, too.
All right, let's talk about our other game. That's going to be a sleeper game, which is Elon at Vanderbilt. Also a 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN Plus. Vanderbilt 95.8% chance to win.
This
Elon,
is all because Vanderbilt finna go 2-0.
Vanderbilt's gonna be 2-0.
This is not SEC
All the hype's
football.
gonna be on them to face a top 25 Wake Forest team.
This is not SEC football. SEC football has been discombobulated.
Bro, they're gonna be 2-0. They won 2 games last year.
They finna be 2-0. I don't think when is the last time Vanderbilt ever went 2-0. To start off the season.
I don't know.
SEC is going to take a weird turn.
Elon's gonna get beat.
Yeah.
You know that. Vanderbilt's gonna be 2-0, getting ready for top 25 Wake Forest to come into town. That's gonna be interesting. Well, a couple more games to go. Let's get it. 7:30 kickoff on ESPNU. We have Memphis on the road taking on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Mississippi State is a 16-point favorite in this game. The FBI also giving Mississippi State a 77.3% chance to win this game. Last week, Memphis. Why did I have it for last week? What the fuck? Oh, that's the Vanderbilt note. I was confused. Memphis 6-6 last year, 3-5 in the conference, and the Hawaii Bowl was canceled, of course, at the last second. I hated that for Memphis. Had to travel all that way just for the game to get canceled. At least they got a little vacation in Hawaii, though. That could be positive.
Oh no, this game is low-key giving me South Alabama vibes.
Mississippi State went 7-6 last year, lost the Liberty Bowl against Texas Tech. And then last year they had a matchup because this is the second of a home and home with Memphis. Last year, Memphis pulled off the win against the Bulldogs 31-29. And this is a game I feel like Mississippi State's got to be careful because this Memphis team is pretty good. I mean,
like I said, this is giving me the vibes when they play South Alabama.
Oh, yeah, I remember that game.
This is giving me them type of vibes. I don't know. I don't know. My gut's telling me South Carolina, but my mind is telling me Mississippi State.
My body. Looking at it. All right. Last couple of games we get into, we have a 7:30 kickoff on ESPN Plus that features the South Carolina Gamecocks hosting Georgia State in this one. South Carolina, 12.5-point favorite in this one, and the FBI giving them an 82.5% chance to win. Georgia State, 8-5 last year, won the Camellia Bowl against Ball State last year. As for South Carolina, 7-6, and then they defeated North Carolina in the Duke's Mayo Bowl last year. And I've seen from experts that South Carolina has to be careful in this one. And, I mean, Georgia State gave Auburn problems last year. South Carolina, we get to see what their offense looks like for Shane Beamer when he has
Spencer Rattler
at quarterback. He also got the transfer tight end from Oklahoma to come with them. They got my boy Christian Bill Smith. He transferred from Wake down there. And I will say, if you guys didn't pay attention, what happened when Kenneth Walker transferred from Wake Forest away to Michigan State, you saw what kind of production he had last year. Am I thinking Christian Bill might have a production like that? Probably not. He'll probably do kind of the same like he did at Wake. But Christian's going to be a good addition to that offense also. I don't know where to lean in this one, though. Because I feel like Georgia State's just going to give South Carolina a fit, but South Carolina's just the better team, and they're going to win the game. You know,
I feel like Carolina is just a better team. I
but we'll
just
get into our picks in a little bit. We're almost there. We will say that this video is definitely going to be one of the longest for the fact that we just have to go through. We have to do all our
it's
stuff at
week
the
one.
end of the video. It's week one.
It's
We're
week
getting used
one.
to it.
It's the hardest. Week one
Once
is
we
always the
get
biggest one.
rolling, all the videos will be shorter because we're close to an hour and a half now on recording, which is okay. We're going to talk football. Man, come on, listen to us. This is like college game day. This is
Yeah, I
like
don't
our
want 3
version of
hours.
college
That's
game
like
day.
3 to 4 hours. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man, for real. Last game that we have Saturday night is an ACC battle on ACC Network. I don't know how. Well, we know how the SEC works. Usually, the SEC game of the week is the 3:30 kickoff on CBS. So for
Yeah.
ACC, it's the 8 o'clock kickoff on ACC Network, and it features the Louisville Cardinal on the road in Syracuse taking on the Orange. Louisville's only a 4.5-point favorite in this one. The FBI giving them a 58.2% chance to win this game. Louisville 6-7 last year. They lost in the First Responders Bowl to Air Force 31-28. As for the Orange, they went 5-7 last year, and they had, of course, they play Louisville every year because we're in the same division. And Louisville won that matchup last year, 41-3. And Louisville brings back Malik Cunningham, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC. For Syracuse, there's probably going to have another down year. Dino Barber is on the hot seat. I feel like they have to at least get into a bowl game to keep his job.
I feel that, too.
And, I mean, they have a good running back in Sean Tucker. If you guys haven't watched Sean Tucker, keep a lookout on him. He ended up breaking the school record in rushing yards last year as a freshman. So y'all keep an eye on Sean Tucker. But this is definitely going to be a fun game to watch. But I feel like Malik Cunningham's going to do his thing. That brings us to our last game in the FBS level that we feature, and it'll be a Saturday night showdown in New Orleans on ABC featuring the Florida State Seminoles and the LSU Tigers. For this LSU team, they went 6-7. They lost the Texas Bowl to Kansas State, even though they barely had half the team to even put on the field at that point. Florida State 5-7 last year. Disappointing season. They started out with a 47-7 victory last week over Duquesne, where they had 3 players run for over 100 yards. So this is definitely going to be an interesting game. LSU's a 3-point favorite in this one, and the FBI is rolling at 72.5 to LSU. But this is definitely going to be an interesting game.
Brian Kelly's debut.
Yeah, that's going to be
Jaden
interesting.
Daniels. I mean, you still got Keyshawn Boot. That dude is a dog. If anybody doesn't know who Keyshawn is, he's a dog. I feel like I don't know. We gonna see what Jaden Days do in the new uniforms, the transfer from Arizona State. We gonna see what he can do.
That is correct. That's definitely going to be on my TV Sunday night watching this game. You always have to watch Labor Day football. Week 1 is the best week because you have football from Thursday night all the way to Monday night.
Sunday and Monday. I'm telling you.
Like this is the best weekend for college football. But that brings us to our last game that we are covering for the week, and that is our FCS game of the week. From Charlotte, North Carolina, Saturday night, 7:30 kickoff. It's going to be on ESPN3. It features the Aggie Eagle Classic. The North Carolina Central Eagles taking on the North Carolina A&T Aggies. In Charlotte, North Carolina, they have an agreement where they're going to play 3 games the next 10 years in Charlotte. This is the first of those games. Definitely going to be fun to watch. North Carolina Central went 6-5 last year, 4-1 in the MEAC. If they would beat South Carolina State, they would have a spot in the Celebration Bowl against Jackson State. But South Carolina State won that game and, of course, won the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah.
For A&T in this one, A&T went 5-6. They moved to the Big South Conference last year and went 2-4. They're going to spend this year in the Big South Conference before moving conferences again next year. So they need to find a permanent home.
They just jumping shit.
Yeah, basically. I think they're
I think
heading to the
they
Colonial
lifted me
Athletic
up.
Conference. But these
Jesus.
two match up every year now. They used to as conference rivals. Now they're doing it in a non-conference way, which I love that they're still doing. And last year, A&T won the matchup 37-14 against Central. But of course, this is a fun game that I'm probably going to have somewhere keeping up with the game. I thought about going to the game. Me and my friend Zayfield, we thought about getting down there for the game. The tickets weren't going for that bad, honestly. Tickets behind the end zone were like $77, which is that's pretty good, honestly. But I know that stadium's gonna be packed out. It's A&T and it's Central. That's gonna be a fun game to keep up with. Of course, we don't
It
really
is.
keep
This is
up
gonna be
with
a fun
FCS
game.
that much. We just love keeping up with the HBCUs. We gotta show love to our HBCUs.
Got to. Another one. I know this is not the game of the week.
I should have made it code game of the week. I thought about it. I
Orange,
don't know why I didn't put it, but he's
Orange
about to say
Blossom.
the
I
Orange
think it's the
Blossom
Orange
Classic.
Blossom Classic. Jackson State. Deion Sanders. Shador Sanders, sophomore quarterback, did phenomenal his freshman year. Try to look to redeem. Try to do the same thing with the number one recruit in the class of 2022, Travis Hunter. Yep, Deion Sanders got him during the all season. Let's see what Deion has cooking up this season at Jackson State. I'm excited to see what Jackson State can do. I'm so excited to see
Man,
what
Jackson
Jackson
State
State
coming
can
off
do.
that great
Everything
season last
Deion,
year. They lost 2 games in total last year, and one of the games was to an FBS opponent. They played Louisiana Monroe and only lost by like 4 points in a good game. And then, of course, losing the
that's
Celebration
true.
Bowl. So it's going to be interesting to see what Jackson State does this year. FAMU, of course, getting some of those players back. I think they're down to they got like 17 there now, ineligible right now, but they're slowly starting to get players back. And last year's game, I did keep up with that game last year. I had it on the TV just to see what Jackson State was about, and that game was a 7-6 victory for Jackson State. So that was a really good game last year. Of course, it just depends on who's eligible to play for FAMU, but definitely a game to watch. It's a Sunday afternoon kickoff. I believe it's on ESPN somewhere.
ABC, I think ABC, if I'm not mistaken.
Might be. But now that brings us to our weekly picks for the week. We're going to be picking all ACC, SEC games. We're going to run through those quick because we have some matchups that feature FCS games that we're not worried about. And then we have a couple games that are on schedule to be picked. So let's get into it with action starting tonight. We have West Virginia Pitt. Who wins and why?
I have Pitt. I'm not gonna lie. I have Pitt that I forgot his name, but that transfer from USC. I think he's gonna do pretty good tonight. The Kenny Pickett era is gone. No more Kenny Pickett. He's in Pittsburgh. He's with the Steelers at the moment, and I think that quarterback from USC is gonna do amazing tonight against a very good West Virginia team and JT Daniels. I do love JT. I love JT to death. I love JT to death, but I think Pitt is gonna win tonight. I have Pitt winning.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Pitt winning. I mean, they're of course losing the production of Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison's going to be rough, but they bring most of their players back from a team that won the ACC last year, and they're probably going to compete to win the ACC again this year. It's going to be interesting to see Slovic being the quarterback. I haven't really seen action of him. I don't know if he's going to be as mobile as Pickett was. JT Daniels being the quarterback at West Virginia, that should definitely be a fun one to look at too. But I'm leaning towards Pitt winning that game also. That brings us to the next game. Wake Forest hosting VMI.
Wake Forest.
Yep,
By
we're
landslide.
both picking Wake Forest. Yeah, we're both picking Wake Forest. And it's not even biased. We're playing VMI. Biased, people. If I think we're going to lose, I'm going to pick us to lose. I promise you that. So
honestly,
come back in week 4 when we play Clemson. Next up, we have Sam Houston State and A&M.
A&M.
Yep, we're all gonna pick.
I-
If it's an FCS team in the picture, we're definitely gonna pick the better team in this one. All right, here's the game we were talking about: NC State, East Carolina.
Okay. I do want to go. I do want to go with NC State. I want to. Even though this is a trap game for them, I want to go NC State.
Yeah, this is definitely a trap game. I am picking NC State to win this game, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. And it's one of those games that I feel that if East Carolina was to win, I would not be surprised. I feel like East Carolina they're gonna give NC State hell. So I am gonna pick NC State, but again, if East Carolina wins, I will not be surprised.
I wouldn't, because people think NC State gonna blow East Carolina out the water. But that's not gonna happen.
All right, here we go. So we have Oregon versus Georgia. Why are you picking Georgia to win?
Georgia. The reason I'm picking Georgia to win because we have Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett's coming back for his last season. We have Kendall Milton and Kenny McIntosh. Kendall Milton is a dog. For people, y'all did get a peek sneak of him while Zamir White James Cook was there. We have Kenny McIntosh and Kendall Milton still there. We have Lad McConkey. I mean, that's not much considering we lost Pickens and Jermaine Burton. We have Brock Bowers, and that kid is only a sophomore, and he's still tearing people's heads. So I do have that. We also have Jalen Carter. We also have the hero himself, Keely Ringo. Robert Bills returning for his final year. Nolan Smith returning for his final year. Christmas Smith returning for another year. We lost Lewis, who was the backbone for that secondary. But I think the secondary this year we should be able to be good, even though we lost a whole lot of key people on that defense. I'm going Georgia, just because we still have a lot of people on the national championship team that's still going to make noise. So I have Georgia winning.
I'm also picking Georgia to win this game, but I will say I think it's going to be closer than what people are expecting. I'm not expecting Oregon to just come into this game and get blown out. I feel like Oregon will keep it close. I think they will definitely keep it within the 17 points that Georgia is favored, but I feel like I just feel like Georgia's the better team in this one, so I'm going to rock with the Bulldogs in this one. That brings us to Bethune-Cookman at Miami. Of course, we're both picking Miami in this one. That's pretty simple. We have Cincinnati, Arkansas.
I'm going to go Arkansas. I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to go Arkansas. KJ Jefferson, I think, is just – I'm not saying Arkansas is going to run them out the stadium, but if they let KJ Jefferson get hot at the wrong time, it's pretty much over for Cincinnati.
I will also pick Arkansas, but I'm going to say closer than people think. I don't think Cincinnati is just going to get blown out by Arkansas. I feel like they'll be able to keep up and hold their own and show that just because we lost all that talent doesn't mean we're going to fall apart. Like, I feel like Cincinnati will keep it close. And honestly, Cincinnati, I feel like if they were to pull off the win, I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be either.
Our big time matchup for the group of five: Houston, Texas San Antonio. Who are you picking?
I'm going UTSA. I think they can pull off the upset. I think they can pull off the upset. You know, I haven't been keeping up with them lately, so I don't know how many people is returning from that great team they had a season ago. But I'm going UTSA. I think they can pull it off.
I'm also picking UTSA to hold their own at home. This is, like I said, one of the most important games in the group of five. The group of five team that's the highest ranked at the end of the year gets the automatic berth into the New Year's Six Bowl. And I feel like Texas San Antonio is going to prove that last year wasn't just a fluke, that they're still around. And I don't know if, like you said, you haven't really kept up with them. I haven't really kept up either. I was scrolling down Twitter the other day, and I saw that they recruited offensive linemen for the future. Like, they're freshmen. They're all freshmen. And they're like 6'6", 6'7", 6'7", 6'8". I'm like, Jesus Christ.
They're stepping into the right foot then. That's good news. That's
So
progressive.
they're building that offensive line up for the future, which is awesome to see. But I definitely feel San Antonio is going to win this game.
I feel like it too. I do.
Next up, we got Troy and Ole Miss. Of course, we're both going to pick Ole Miss to win this one. We got Utah, Florida.
Going Florida. I got to. As much as I hate Florida, I got to. Cause like I said earlier, it's hard to bet against Florida.
I hate to interrupt you during our recording, but I just got an ESPN alert that the Cavaliers have just acquired Utah Jazz guard Donovan Mitchell in a trade.
What the fuck?
Hey, Woj, why you have to drop a bomb while we're recording, dog?
My fault. It just caught me off guard. It caught me off guard.
Well,
it caught me off guard. Oh, man, that is my bad. It caught me off guard. I didn't
wait to see what was traded for that to happen.
But like I was saying, I'm gonna have to go Florida.
I'm going to be rocking with Utah in this one. I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm gonna go Florida. It's hard to beat Florida in the swamp. Everybody knows that.
It is.
It's hard. If you play Florida in the swamp, they're not going down without a fight. It's hard to beat Florida when they're in the swamp. So I gotta go Florida.
It is. I'm still gonna rock Utah though. I think Utah is ready to live up to the hype that they're supposed to be playoff contenders this year. I feel like it's definitely gonna be a close game. Florida's going to give them a fit, but at the end, I think Cameron Rising and that Utah offense is going to be too much for Florida to handle. So I don't know if Florida can handle getting in a shootout with Utah and coming away with the victory. So I'm going to take the Utes in this one. Our next game is Miami, Ohio, and Kentucky, which we're both going to also pick Kentucky to win. And then we have Utah State and Alabama, which we both are also going to pick Alabama. That brings us to the game of the week, Notre Dame at Ohio State.
I'm going to go Ohio State. Half of that team who was on that Rose Bowl team, you still have C.J. Stroud, who is a Heisman favorite, Jackson Smith-Njigba, whose people calling him arguably the best receiver in college football today. You still have Marvin Harrison Jr., you still have Travion Henderson. You got a lot of weapons. You have a lot of weapons on the Ohio State team. So I got to go Ohio State. I think Ryan Day is on the mission to make the college football playoffs and win the national championship this season. I'm going to go Ohio State.
I'm also going to go Ohio State. I'm not too sure what Notre Dame is going to look like with Freeman as the head coach now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the program. I mean, he is the right guy for the job. It's just you got a Notre Dame team that when the spotlight is on them that they haven't been able to, grab it and just take it. But I mean, it could change this year, but I don't think it's going to start with this matchup against Ohio State. The Big House I said the Big House. Holy shit!
The Horseshoe.
The Horseshoe is definitely a tough place to play at, especially at night. So I'm taking Ohio State to win this one. That brings us to Clemson and Georgia Tech.
I'm gonna go Clemson, and I say that because I think DJ is gonna have a good game. I said it earlier. Determine how Clemson plays. Determine if Clemson wins or not is determine how DJ plays. So I'm gonna go Clemson. I think DJ is gonna have a good game.
I'm gonna go Clemson also. I will say that Clemson, like I keep saying, the big story is what's the team gonna look like with a new offense coordinator and defense coordinator. It's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to see if Tua is ready to take that step to show the nation that he is the quarterback of this team and that they're going to have to come take it from him, or an injury is going to have to happen for him just for him to lose the job. But I feel like Georgia Tech will be able to give them a dogfight like they did last year, though. But I will take Clemson to win this game. So far, we've only had one disagreement, which was the Utah-Florida game.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, next up we have Ball State at Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee is definitely going to win this game.
And if they don't, I'll be
surprised. It might be closer than the 35 points, though, maybe. But
I was going to say, some of these FCS teams don't lay down for anybody.
Well, Ball State's a FBS team. They're just in the MAC. So
some of these like lower teams like Ball State, they don't lay down for anybody.
Right. We got Louisiana Tech and Missouri. I'm gonna take Missouri.
I'm gonna have to. I mean, I'm gonna have to. All these, these teams like believe. I'm saying it's pretty. All these other conferences seem besides like the Power Five conferences. It's hard to beat these SEC schools if you're not a Power Five conference. It is. So I'm gonna have to go Mizzou.
I was looking at the trade details. Utah is trading Donovan Mitchell to Cleveland for Lauri Markkanen, DAWG, Colin Sexton, 3 unprotected first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. So Colin Sexton has agreed to a sign-and-trade deal to join Utah.
Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Jared Allen. That's scary.
That's going to be interesting to see. Definitely going to be interesting to see. Next up, we have Virginia Tech, Old Dominion.
I'm going Virginia Tech. I know it's been years since they played, but I want to see Virginia Tech get their get back. I'm going Virginia Tech.
I'm actually rocking with the home team. I think Old Dominion's going to beat them again this time around. I don't know why I feel that way. It's going to be interesting to see what Virginia Tech looks like with a new head coach. Old Dominion's coming off a pretty decent season where they actually made a bowl game. They might want to keep that momentum going too. So I feel like Old Dominion's going to hold their own on their home field and get the victory.
Respectable.
Temple, Duke. There's no wrong answers here because both these teams suck.
I'm gonna have to go Duke. I'm gonna be real. Temple hasn't been the same ever since Matt Rule left, so I'm gonna have to go Temple. I'm gonna have to go Duke. I'm gonna have to go Duke.
Yeah, I'm rocking with Duke. I guess I'll support the ACC in this one. We have Rutgers at Boston College.
I'm gonna go Rutgers. I'm gonna go Rutgers. That is a bold prediction, but I'm gonna go Rutgers.
Yeah, I was picking Rutgers for the fact that this team isn't as bad as what their record looked like last year. I mean, they competed, they played in the bowl game on 4 days' notice. So, I mean, I feel like Rutgers is gonna give Boston College a fit.
They legit came a long way. The grind is real for Rutgers. They grinded their asses off to get to the point where they at now.
Right, and I feel like Boston College, I mean, they got Zay Flowers coming back. They have their quarterback. Let's see if he stays healthy this year. But I feel like Rutgers is going to pull out a close victory in this one on the road. Which brings us to North Carolina App State.
I'm sorry. I got to go App State. I got to. It just something about App State facing a Power 5 team and a Power 5 conference. I gotta go App State.
I'm going with App State for the fact that North Carolina's defense wasn't the best last year, and then their defense didn't look too well last week. So
not the shame. They gave up 20 points to A&M. Not the shame. A&M is a damn good football.
A&M's a good team, but they're missing damn near 26 players, and you still gave up 24.
Yeah.
I mean, they came together late in the game, but, I mean, I don't know. Carolina's defense is just a big question mark, so I'm definitely concerned with that. I think App State's ready to put the world on notice and pull off this upset at home. Of course, the next couple games are just FCS games, so we'll just go through them real quick. We're both picking Richmond to get beat by Virginia. We're both picking Mercer to get beat by Auburn. And we're both picking Elon to get beat by Vanderbilt. The Commodores are picked to go 2-0 to start the season. That's scary. Who would ever thought? I feel like that one video where that guy's like, who would have thought we'd be here?
Oh, I'm sorry. If any Oregon fans listening to this, I'm sorry. I forgot to bring this up. Oregon fans, this might sting a little bit, but Bo Nix has never beat Georgia in his college career. So keep that in mind.
That is true. Is he the starting quarterback? I never heard who the starting quarterback was for that game.
He is starting Saturday. Let's keep that in mind. Bo Nix has never beaten Georgia.
All right, we only got a couple more games to pick. We got Memphis and Mississippi State.
I'm gonna go Memphis. Like I said, this game is giving me South Alabama vibes. I don't know why, but this game is giving me them type of vibes.
I'm also picking Memphis to win this game. I feel like Memphis is going to give Mississippi State problems. It's going to be another close game like it was last year. I just feel like Memphis is going to be able to pull away in this one and get the win. We have Georgia State and South Carolina.
South Carolina. I think Spencer Rattler's gonna have a good game against Georgia State in his debut.
Yeah, South Carolina's going to win. I think it's going to be one of those Georgia State-Auburn games last year where Auburn had to pull away late in the game to get the victory. I feel like it'll probably be the same thing in this one. So South Carolina's going to win to me. We have Louisville at Syracuse.
I'm gonna go Louisville. I think Malik Cunningham.
Definitely.
I think Malik Cunningham going to win this game. Like you say, he's arguably one of the best quarterbacks in college football and probably the best in his conference. So I'm gonna go Louisville.
I wouldn't say conference. I'll definitely tell you he's like top 5 in the conference. Definitely. It'd probably be like, okay, when everybody's healthy, he's number 3. So right now he's like number 2, behind Devin Leary.
I can see that.
All right, we have the Sunday night showdown at the Dome. Florida State, LSU.
LSU.
I figured this is where we were going to be in the disagreement also with the ACC.
I'm gonna have to go LSU. I think Brian Kelly's gonna get his first W in at that season Superdome. Brian Kelly debut, Jaden Daniels debut. He got Keyshawn Woodward. I think LSU's gonna get the job done.
I'm rolling with Florida State. I feel like the rushing attack that they had last week will come over to this game. Not sure how LSU's defensive line is. Of course, we can question what the defense looks like. I mean, they gave up 7 points, but they're playing Duquesne in a week 0 matchup. Now you're going to get to face a team that has an actual offense. It's going to be interesting to see what Daniels does with the LSU offense and see what Brian Kelly can come up with. But I feel like Florida State's running attack is going to be enough to get them this win. It's going to be a close one. But I'll go Florida State to win. That brings us to our last game that we will pick, and that's the FCS game of the week: North Carolina Central and A&T.
I got A&T.
Yeah, I'm feeling A&T to win this game also, but it should be a fun one. I'll definitely keep up. So honestly, we picked the same team except like 2 times, honestly. So we are going to keep up with our week-to-week record. I have it written down in my notes, so we will definitely be keeping up with week-to-week and see who does the best at the end of the season. This will go through the end of the season, including the championship game. So it's just going to be interesting to see. So now we're at the point of the video where we're going to finish this up. We have 3 more topics to talk about, and we're almost at an hour and a half of recording. So just a couple of college football nerds talking football, guys. So just be in for it. This should be the longest episode of the year. But
week one,
yeah.
The longest episode.
Yeah, last week I think we had about a 50-minute episode for week 0. Of course, there wasn't much to talk about. There's only like a handful of games that we actually went over. Well, I went over.
It was basically just a tune-up for this week, for this Saturday.
Yeah, last week was a tune-up. This week is like the practice also. Like we're in a preseason game, and then next week it's the actual thing where we get into maybe shorter episodes. We'll see what happens. But we're at the point of the video where we are now going to talk about Heisman Trophy. Last year's Heisman Trophy winner was Bryce Young, winning it over C.J. Stroud, who are both the top 2 favorites to win it, along with Will Anderson. So that brings it up. Who is your early Heisman favorite?
Early Heisman favorite. I wouldn't be mad if I do say Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young. I think when he lost that national championship game, I think they woke something up in him. And Bryce Young is pretty much looking for blood. He got weapons like Trayvon Burke. He still has almost everybody on that team he had last year. He has Cameron Latu. I think he has Jermaine Burton, who's an amazing deep threat receiver. And yeah, I think Bryce Young is gone. It's close, but I think Bryce Young is going to outdo CJ. It's close. It's on thin edge, but I got Bryce.
Yeah, honestly, you can go both ways with it because like you said, Bryce Young is going to be looking for revenge all year after that national championship loss. CJ Stroud, if he does what he did in the Rose Bowl all year long, then he's easily going to win this trophy. Will Anderson, I mean, he has an argument because he's going to be one of the best defensive players in the country. But the only problem is most of the time, like 9 times out of 10, the Heisman Trophy award is a quarterback's award.
It is.
So it's hard to want to be able to pick a guy like Will Anderson to win it. I will say I'm going to roll with CJ Stroud to win it this year. But I will say I do have a sleeper pick in the Heisman, which is Cam Rising from Utah. I feel like he's going to be able to get that offense moving, and I feel like he's going to have a really good year this year.
Okay.
My friend Zay just texted in our group chat because he's a big Colin Sexton fan, so he's like, great. So now I'm a Utah Jazz fan. I'm fucking weak. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and give our favorite to win the conference championship. We can go over every conference if you want, or we can just do the Power 5. Either way, I'm down for whatever.
We can do for week 1. We can do Power 5.
All right, we're gonna do Power 5 conferences, guys. Which, if you guys don't know, the Power 5s: ACC, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, and the Pac-12. So we'll start it out alphabetical order. I'm looking at ESPN, by the way, and that is the ACC. Who is your pick to win the ACC?
ACC, I have. I'm not telling you Clemson, but I'm gonna have to go Pitt.
Ooh, you're gonna pick the repeat.
That's what I'm hoping for. If not, my second option is Clemson. Pitt or Clemson to win the ACC.
Well, I mean, they're both in 2 different divisions, so you could definitely go with a team like or you could have that as your matchup.
Yeah.
My sister's here. Okay, that's cool to hear. Well, you just technically gave an ACC championship game matchup, so I think I'll just do the same. ACC style, I think I told you a couple weeks ago that I was not feeling Clemson to win the conference again. I don't know, something just making me feel like they're not going to win the conference. So I think I'm going to go NC State playing in the ACC championship game, and they will take on Miami. And I feel like NC State, they will finally join a small list of just Wake Forest as North Carolina teams to win the ACC championship game. So NC State, I'm going to give you your props. I'm going to pick you guys to win the ACC. Is there anybody in this conference that you see as like a sleeper team to win the conference?
Sleeper team to win the ACC. It might sound crazy, but Miami.
You gonna go Miami?
Got Miami. It might sound crazy, but Miami.
I'm thinking a little different than that for the fact that the ACC Atlantic Division is going to be it. Even without Sam Hartman playing for us, the Atlantic is supposed to be one of the hardest conferences, divisions in football with Clemson, State, and Wake. I mean, the sleeper team for me to win this conference, I'm going to go with Louisville. I feel like Louisville has the offense to be able to compete with anybody in this conference. It's just, you got to see what happens with it. But I'll say Louisville is my sleeper team to win the ACC.
Okay.
All right, so that brings us to the Big 12 conference. As you know, the Big 12 is one of those conferences that doesn't have division. So our conference championship matchup will just be the top 2 teams that we think. So go ahead. So let's hear what you got for the Big 12.
Obviously, you can't bet against Oklahoma. So Oklahoma, you can't bet against them.
All right.
Can't bet against Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma taking on who?
I have Oklahoma taking on. It's gonna be a surprise. I got Oklahoma taking on Baylor.
Baylor.
Oklahoma Baylor with Oklahoma as the Big 12 champs.
You know what? I'm actually going with a rematch from last year. I got Baylor and Oklahoma State facing off again this year, with Oklahoma State getting revenge and winning the Big 12.
I can see that.
My sleeper team, I'm going with the Kansas State Wildcats. I hear Kansas State's supposed to be pretty decent this year. They got a new quarterback in Martinez, transferring from Nebraska to be the quarterback. So I'm interested to see what happens there. I'm gonna pick them as my sleeper team.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I'm gonna have to go Kansas State. A lot of hype been around them coming up to this season. I can't wait to see what they can do.
All right, our next conference is the Big Ten Conference. And I'll start it off. I got Ohio State winning the conference, and I got them defeating the Purdue Boilermakers.
Purdue is a huge sleeper. I'm gonna have to agree. I have Ohio State. It's the Big Ten teams, and I got them facing Purdue.
With Ryan Day winning another Big Ten title.
The Pac-12 is hardly. I do have Oregon. I do have Oregon winning the Pac-12. I know it sounds crazy. I have Oregon and Utah rematch. I have Dan Lanning making the Pac-12 and Pac-12 championship game in his first year, and I have Oregon winning that game. I have Utah winning that game. My bad. Excuse me. I have Utah winning that game, and that's pretty much it for the Pac-12. And also, I forgot about USC. I did forget about USC, but I still have Oregon. I say Oregon. We already know Utah's going to the Pac-12 championship game. We already know Utah going to the Pac-12 championship game. This is about who's going to face them. Is it Oregon or Utah? Oregon or USC? It's between them. Like I said, I do have Oregon winning. I think Bo Nix can actually pull some Bo magic in the Pac-12. At least hope. But SEC is a no-brainer. Sleeper team is Oregon State. I do see Oregon State doing some damage this season. We can the SEC is no surprise. We should know. Kirby versus Nick Saban, and I have not biased, so I'm telling the truth. I have Bama beating Georgia. I do. I have Bama beating Georgia. You can't bet on Bama. You can't bet on Nick Saban. Yeah, we beat him in that championship. Yeah, we beat him in that championship. But yeah, I have Bama winning. Can't bet against Saban. And the sleeper team I do have winning the sleeper team I have in the SEC is pretty much I have Kentucky. I have Kentucky winning. Pretty much being a sleeper in the SEC. That's all the Power 5 teams that we have. We can do the college football playoff predictions. This is tough. Not really, but I have Bama going number one. Obviously, I have Bama going undefeated this season with the conference championship bid at that. Number two, I have Ohio State. Obviously, you want to separate them two. You want to separate the top two teams from the other bracket. Number three, this is when it kicks in. I'm gonna have to say it's gonna be a team that I'm probably gonna say Michigan. We can have a Bama versus Michigan, and the four we can probably have. We can have Georgia in that slot. Not saying that can actually happen. That's just me just saying. Basically me just saying. I think Michigan should be 3 and Georgia should be 1. So you can separate the bracket, because much as we love seeing Georgia and Bama play, I don't think the college football playoff committee is not going to do that. Due to the fact they already did that last season in 2021 season by splitting Georgia and Bama, knowing that was going to be the national championship game. But that's my predictions. Bama 1. I have Bama 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, and Georgia 4. I have Bama beating Michigan, and I said I'm unbiased. I do have Ohio State beating Georgia. I think we don't match up on paper, and I think by positions, especially number 1, quarterback. I don't think Bennett doesn't match up with CJ Stroud by a mile, and I think that's gonna be a disadvantage for us if we do play Ohio State in the college football playoffs. So I do have Bama versus Ohio State in the national championship, which is gonna be a good game, and I do have Ohio State by a thread. I have Ohio State winning the national championship by a thread. It's gonna be a good game, but I have Ohio State winning the national championship by a thread. I have them winning that by a thread. Let's get to what Jordan has said. Like I said, we had technical difficulties. Jordan, Pac-12 championship. He did say he has Utah over USC. I can see that in the future. The sleeper for the Pac-12 is Oregon State. That's what he said. I agree with that. SEC is no surprise. Both agree on that. It's going to be a Saban versus Kirby Smart battle for the SEC title. And he also said the sleeper seed is pretty much going to be South Carolina. College football predictions, he did say Alabama, Ohio State, Utah, Oklahoma State. I can see that happening. But for Oklahoma State and Utah to get in there, a lot of bad things going to have to happen during the season for them and conference championship week for them to get in there. I can see that happening. I really can't see that happening. And he does have Bama beating Ohio State in the Natty. So we got the Natty predictions right. College football is different, but it is what it is. He can't hear us right now, but he did send me his thoughts on week 1. We've been here for 2 hours. That's crazy. That pretty much should be it for the Wake Up Dog podcast. I am TFG Sosa. This is ItsYaBoyJHAWK. And we will catch y'all next Wednesday. And always remember to wake up, dog.
It takes time. I'm just trying to be the greatest. I gotta keep grinding. It takes time. You miss the shots you don't take. Give me the chance and I take mine. Trust the process like Embiid. Success will come. It just takes time.